Hello. Welcome to another edition of Capper Comparison Picks. I'm Ranj. Today I'll be giving you the Capper Comparison Picks for UFC Fight Night in Columbus. Blades vs. Diakiese. If you haven't checked it out, I did do a show yesterday. Be sure to check that out where I cover 4 of the prelim fights. And in this show, I'm going to cover 3 more prelim fights, moving up the old order of the card. The order has switched around, but when I did my research, I placed in Tapology's old order, so I'm going by that. Still, these are all prelim fights, in addition to the prelims, the 4 I did yesterday. And tomorrow, I'll have the headliner and get into the main card. So be sure to tune in for that one. Do all that stuff. I usually say it at the end, but you know what? For those guys that don't want to sit through 30 or 40 minutes of me blabbering, that's why I have a timestamp in the link. It says recap. That speeds, wow, it speeds right up to the end. And it's like literally 2 minutes where I recap all my picks and all the capper picks. So if you don't have to listen to me drone on about my reasoning and how I got to where I got on my choices, you can just go hit recap, where I go recap, and then my daughter comes in and says time check, and that's, if you don't want to sit through this right here, if you don't have the time for that, just go to the recap. You'll get the picks. I think because people are like, well, I'd watch your show, but it's like, 40 minutes long. I don't got that time. Well, then don't watch the show. Just go to the recap. Get the info. Gather the info. Place your bets. Cash the tickets, son. Just do that. At least you get the recap is a recap. It's going to give a brief, a recap of my picks. That's it. That's why it is there. But anyway, let me get into this. I'm rambling, I know. Today is Tuesday, so my wife has a class in about an hour, so I got a time limit. And I'm already starting late. I try to give myself roughly 10 minutes per fight. So, open up this show. We have the lightweight fight between Marc Diakiese, Bone Crusher. He's out of England originally, but now he fights out of American Top Team. But he's taking on this Russian, Viacheslav, Viacheslav Borshchev. Viacheslav Borshchev. Okay, this guy is a killer. He's master of sport. I want to say it's either in like sambo, kickboxing, or hand-to-hand combat. One of those master of sports in combat sports, definitely. And he trains like, this might have been lost in translation, but he trains some sort of like military. I want to say it's high-ranking governmental officials, not like the soldiers, not like that military, but I want to say he trains like government positions in self-defense. And he also does like training for children, and he's a lawyer. The dude's phenomenal. Viacheslav, phenomenal. Master of sport, But anyway, he comes in here as the slight favorite, minus 155. Marc Diakiese is a slight underdog, plus 135. Diakiese 14-5. Believe it or not, side-by-side stats on paper, Diakiese leads. According to when I watched, who was it? I want to say, man, I have something in my nose. I watched Uncle Weezy and the Stat Diggers, DFS Brady. I'm not going to use them on this show, but I remember watching their show and he was doing side-by-side stats, and he was like, oh, Diakiese's out striking him. Diakiese's got better accuracy. He's got more takedowns, good takedown defense. He's got the tail of the tape because Diakiese's also got a 4-inch reach advantage. He's 1 year younger. You got all this stuff going on for the underdog, but how can you go against the Viacheslav, the Russian, master of sport, favorite, you know, and he's coming off a very nice win over Dakota Bush. He won by a liver shot in round 1. Dakota Bush was had me sweating for a little bit because he was using some wrestling and it was being kind of successful against Borshchev. Borshchev's a kickboxer base, but he is Russian, so they got that back pocket Russian wrestling. So that's always going to be there a little bit. Before that, he beat Chris Duncan, left hook in round 2. That was in a Contender Series fight. Prior to that, he was fighting out of Titan Fighting Championships and LFA, which he did fairly well. His only win was a loss, though, to William Starks, and that was a split decision in the LFA. He's only 6-1, so Diakiese definitely has double the pro fight experience as him. And like I said, stats side by side, Diakiese leads, but you're going to pay tax on the V in Borshchev, him, and that he's Russian. Diakiese's British. As of lately, though, London card, the British are killing it, right? And Diakiese, though, he's an American top team, and he does have wrestling despite him being a Brit. So the bone crush. No, we're gonna start with Borshchev Slava Claus. We got taking him. We got Angelo. He used to be an agent for fighters. Now he's got his capper, his show We Want Picks. It's Angelo and a couple other dudes, and he's on the side of Slava Claus. We've got Greedo. Greedo plays. He's saying Slava Claus should get a TKO in round 2. I like that. I like when you prop out the method and the round, making this plus money for sure. Absolutely. MMA Guru, that is the one from the UK with the knit cap. You guys all know him. You guys love him. He is hilarious. He's a comedian and a capper. He's saying TKO round 1 for MMA Guru for Borshchev, Slava Claus. Then we also have AJ Devito from MMA Experts, covering everything. AJ Devito, 23-year-old capper. He's like, because he looks kind of like he could be 30, and sometimes he looks like he could be 18. It's weird. It's like how the light hits him. Anyway, he's definitely 23. And he's also saying TKO round 2. Interesting. So, see a trend here. TKO. We want picks. Angelo, he really didn't say. And finally, we have a new guy, a newcomer to the Capper Comparison Picks show, and his name is Rosmanian Devils. I'm assuming he's from Tasmania, thus the channel name Rosmanian Devils. Link is in the description. Definitely check him out. He's definitely knows what he's talking about. He seems like he's a pretty good capper. I just subscribed to him. He's new, but he's professional. He sits there. He gives his picks and he gives his reasons why. Check him out. I'm not going to write Rosmanian Devil every single time, but I will write Rosmanian, I guess. Rosmanian Devil. I think from now on, I'm just going to write Roz. He finishes this pick off, making this a full capper consensus. If you don't know what a full capper consensus is, it's when all the handicappers agree on one side. In this case, everybody's taking Slava Claus, Viacheslav, Borshchev. And this is the capper comparison, the capper consensus stance. I learned it from a hockey capper, actually. His name's Pearl Wisdom. And these are throwing lucky pearls, lucky gambling pearls, for those of you guys that want to bet on this fight. So everybody's on the side of Borshchev. I'm reluctantly going there. I think he's going to win, but I would not be surprised in the least if Diakiese pulls out something, because he is, like I said, on paper, he beats him on paper. Stats side by side, the experience, the age, the reach, the strikes, the volume, the takedowns, everything except for, you know what? I don't think cardio. I think when it comes past, I think Diakiese probably might even win round 1. But when it gets into the second round, that's when Borshchev will turn it on. And I predict he should find, Borshchev should find a finish by striking in round 3. I want to say that's when Diakiese he's gonna deplete his gas tank, I believe. But I wouldn't be surprised if Diakiese does shock people and manage to get the little upset victory here. However, I'm gonna side with Slava Claus. You know, I know he doesn't have the same experiences, and you gotta look at Marc Diakiese. We didn't even talk about his last five. Okay, we did talk about Slava Claus. Yeah, Dakota Bush and everybody else was a non-UFC opponent. Diakiese's last 5. He lost to Rafael Alves. Guillotine round 1. Not good. Not a good look. Before that, he lost to who though? Rafael Fiziev, another striking coach out of Tiger Muay Thai, but phenomenal striker. He lost to him by unanimous decision. So I give it to him that he did last with the killer of a striker in Rafael Fiziev. I don't know. I might have to see what these guys look like in the face-offs, but I will give a pick after I go finish this. He has a win against Groovy, Lando Venata, unanimous decision, Lando Venata. Well-rounded mixed bag of attacks, like got a little wrestling, got a little striking. You know, it's Groovy, Lando Venata. I think he retired, though. I think he left the UFC or something like that, Mbe told me. Then he has a win against Joe Duffy. And Joe Duffy is a brawling style of striking. He won a unanimous decision there. And prior to that, he lost to Nasrat Hot Press by unanimous decision. So he's 2-3 in his last 5. But like I said, I like that he's statistically in all categories. Are you moving that camera, Brandon?
No.
Don't. Every category he's winning statistically side by side if you line up their stats. So that is something to be said for, but my heart, my head, my brain, I'm going with the master of sport in combat sports or something. It's one of the combat sports, I don't know. I think Borshchev's going to get it done. I think he's going to get like a ground and pound or a knockout TKO round 3. Look at these guys also say TKO, TKO, TKO. So they're on the same side with me. What? I didn't think so. However, Diakiese plus 135. He may. Right now, I'm not going to hedge him because he's too early on the card. I only hedge it's like a end of a parlay. But who knows? I might hedge a little Diakiese because he does. I told you statistically he's going. But for right now, my pick is going to be Slava Claus by TKO round 3. And moving on, we got this banger Neil Magny taking on Max Griffin. I'll be the 4th capper to say it though, but should be main card. Should not be on the prelims. This fight here, but it is. That's how good this card is surprisingly for Columbus, Ohio. Interesting. Anyway, welterweight showdown between the Haitian sensation Neil Magny. He's a 2-1 favorite, minus 222 or 225 last time I checked on Bet Online. Taking on Max Payne Griffin, a plus 190. Have you? You'll get almost double your money back if you're taking the side of Max Griffin. Let's talk about the favorite first to Neil Magny. He's got a 4-inch height and 4-inch reach advantage over Max Griffin. He trades out of Elevation Fight Team. You know what's interesting? Neil Magny a while ago called out Hamza Chimaev, but for some reason that fight never came into fruition. I don't know why. I don't know, but I do remember when Neil Magny's like, "I'll fight that hype train." I think that would have been great. That would have been great. I'm not saying he would have won, but it would have been a good fight. Okay. Haitian Sensation's coming off a nice win against Hands of Steel, Jeff Neal by unanimous decision. Prior to that, he lost to Michael Chiesa. Diakiese out-wrestled him, and that's how it rolls sometimes. But prior to that, he beat Robbie Lawler, Anthony Rocco Martin, and Jing Liang Li, the Leech. All three of them by unanimous decision. He's definitely a decisionator. Neil Magny, he can strike. He's got the reach. He's got the volume. He's 4 inches taller and 4 inch more reach than Max Griffin. And he can point strike. That's why he's getting all these decision victories. I don't think he's going to knock out anybody, but he can point jab you. So, Max Griffin on the other side, he's coming off some wins himself. Pretty decent, I would say. His most recent was against the aged Carlos Condit. Not prime, obviously not prime Carlos Condit. But before that was unanimous decision. Before that, he has a win against Kenan Song. Good punches, round 1. Good on you. Good on you for that. Before that, he ripped off Ramiz Brahimaj's ear with a crazy elbow. Brahimaj, that was nasty. His ear's just dangling by a thread. But they put that sucker back on. He's back on the winning track, Brahimaj. But very eerie fight there, though. But he got, that's still a win for Max Griffin. He couldn't, doctor stoppage. Ear fell off. Well, how did you lose that one? Oh, he knocked my ear off. Weird. Before that, he lost 2 in a row. He dropped one to Cowboy Alex Oliveira by split decision, and he lost to Great White Alex Morono by unanimous decision. That's Max Griffin. So he's 3-2 in his last 5. Just like Magny. No, Magny's actually 4-1 in his last 5. But 3-2. He fights out of MMA Gold Fight Team. That's in California, I do believe, like Gold. El Dorado Hills. That's why they call it the Gold. MMA Gold Fight Team. But anyway, you know who else trains out of there? Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Coincidentally, Anthony Hernandez getting ready to fight Dricus du Plessis in April 9th. That should be an interesting fight too. So Max Griffin, Payne, the underdog, 18-8. Neil Magny, Haitian sensation, the 2-1 favorite, 25-8. Man, this is going to be a very interesting fight, I think. But let's just break it down and see what get these boards dirty, see what these cappers have to say. Starting with the favorite, 2-1 favorite in Neil Magny, the Haitian sensation. We've got AJ Devito, MMA experts, saying Magny should get the decision. Just like I said, we got that height, he's got the reach. He might not have the most powerful hands, but he can hit you with them. He can touch you. MMA Guru, same train of thought. Thinks Magny by decision. 30-27 unanimous decision. Greedo Plays, same train of thought. By decision. I'm seeing a trend here, guys. This is why I do this show. Weird, all these cappers saying Magny by decision. We got the new guy, Razmanian Devils. Raz Devils. I didn't catch how his method, if he even said it, but he is definitely taking Neil Magny. And finally, we got Angelo from We Want Picks, also jumping on board with the favorite in Haitian sensation, Neil Magny, making this another full capper consensus. I too agree that there's different levels of the game, and Neil Magny is at a different level than Max Griffin. I'm not saying Max Griffin's bad. He's got some good wins. I mean, Carlos Condit, Kenan Song, Ramiz Brahimaj, they're all good. I picked all 3 of those guys to beat Max Griffin, so he took money from me every one of those fights. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Max Griffin. And he might do the same in this fight. That's why I'm very skeptical for going with the capper consensus and Neil Magny, but I have to go with the cappers. And I have to say, Neil Magny should get the decision here. But as I just mentioned, Max Griffin, he's taking money out of my pocket. I picked Carlos Condit against him. I picked Kenan Song against him. And I picked Ramiz Brahimaj to beat him. All three of those guys fell short. That's 3 parlays busted up by Max Griffin. I hope I'm not wrong in this one, but I think Magny should get the decision victory here. I don't know if that's going to be plus money or not, but what are you going, upstairs? Did you do your spelling? Yeah? Did you do your reading? Yeah? We're going to do yoga later.
You never said I was gonna.
Huh? I'm saying that we are now. You are gonna now. Yeah, I went to, side note, time check. I'll put a time check in there before I move to the next one. I want to say I did go to the doctor today. I go biannually. That means twice a year for those guys that don't understand what biannually means. I go twice a year, and so 6 months ago, she said from 6 months ago to now I've gained 17 pounds. So I promised her, and I hate disappointing my doctor. I have two doctors. They're both female. One's my primary, and the other one is my endocrinologist. This who I saw today is my endocrinologist. And I swore to her the next time she saw me, I will be at fighting weight. So I've established a goal. It's in my tasks. I'm gonna be task oriented. I'm gonna wake up that little extra time early in the morning. I'm gonna stay up that little bit longer at night. I'm gonna put in a little bit of diet restriction, not free for all Modelo's on Friday night just because I'm doing a live stream with Dave. I'm not gonna drink myself into a stupor. Have 2 lunches both at bars. I mean, Friday is just, I think I gained 10 pounds every Friday. Since I've been doing the steady live streams. I'm still gonna do the live stream stuff, but I'm starting to make some small lifestyle changes after my slap in the face by reality check. My reality check, my doctor pretty much put me in place. She's like, yeah, you gotta go back. She's like, I know you can do it. I've seen you do it in the past. And you know what? She's like, go look at your old videos. And you know, a year ago, look at a video I did a year ago, and you can see I was like 30 pounds less than I am now. It's crazy, but I'm gonna get back there. This is just side note tangent, since you know some of you guys do give a shit. And then last week when Bout Better said I had big tits, big man tits, that kind of bugged me. It hurt me right here in the heart, Bout Better. But actually, thank you for that, because that gave me a wake up call. You're right, Range, you do have a little bit of a gyno mess, you know, and that's without steroids. That's just straight up beer titty. So anyway, I'm getting back onto the healthy lifestyle, reluctantly, but I'm gonna start getting into it. You're gonna see the transformation happen live. Pretty much, if you watch my show every day, you'll see today. Yeah, I don't even want to say my weight. I did write it down though. Once I get down, I'll start mentioning the weight. But anyway, I'm gonna get down to light heavyweight. That's my goal. Now, moving on. Sorry about that tangent. Time check. Where are we? Okay, I got 7 minutes to cover this fight. We've got flyweight fight between David Dvorak and Matheus Nicolau. Matheus Nicolau is the slight underdog here. Plus 110 for Matheus. David Dvorak, the Undertaker, slight favorite at minus 130. He is 20 and only 3 losses. 20 wins, 3 losses. Nicolau, 17-2-1. All right, let's talk about the favorite first. That's how I usually like to do these things. David Dvorak, the Undertaker, is coming off a win against Juan Camilo Ronderos. Super short notice, but he get there, took care of business, rear naked choke in round 1. Prior to that, he beat Jordan Espinosa. Not that great of a fighter, unanimous decision. These are all UFC fights though, UFC caliber. He had his UFC debut before that against Bruno Silva, the flyweight Bruno Silva. Don't get it mixed. Don't get it messed up. And he beat him by unanimous decision. That was his UFC debut. Prior to that, he was fighting out of Octagon, OKTAGON, Octagon with a K instead of a C. XFN, those are all over like a Czech Republic regional scene. So the Western European regional scene. David Dvorak is on a 16-fight win streak. He trains at All Sports Academy in the Czech Republic, and he's got a 2-inch reach advantage over the same aged Matheus Nicolau. Both these guys, 29 years old. I think actually, both of them 29. I thought one of them is like half a year older, but it doesn't matter. They're the same year. Age doesn't matter here. Okay, Matheus Nicolau does have a 1-inch height advantage, but that's nothing. Throw that right out the window. That stat doesn't matter. Same with the David Dvorak's 2-inch reach advantage. That's an inch on each fist. That's padding on your glove. That's nothing either. You know, it's a game of inches. Well, it's not like football, first an inch or fourth and an inch, or it's not like that. Game of inches, I suppose, but really not that much of a difference. Okay, so we're gonna start with. Oh, I already talked about David Dvorak's last fighting history. Let's talk about Nicolau. Nicolau coming off a win over Tim Elliott. Very good looking win, seasoned very nice now. Unanimous decision win over Tim Elliott. Then he has a split decision win over Manel Cape, but does he really? I don't. I picked Manel Cape that fight, and I think it definitely could have and should have went that way for the judging. But nonetheless, Matheus Nicolau got the nod. He got the split decision win over Manel Cape there. A little salty about that. Prior to that, he was in Brave CF against Philippe and Efrain. Unanimous decision win. Allen, I can't read my own writing. He beat him in Darce choke round 1. And prior to that, he had a loss to Dustin Ortiz. Dustin Ortiz got round 1 with a head kick loss. Matheus Nicolau was in the UFC before, back in 2016. Then he, after some fights, he did fight, he had a fight against Louis Smoka, and he had some more fights. He got caught, but then he made his return after fighting his way back out of the regional scene. So, over in Brave FC, Brave CF, that's Brave Cage Fighting, I think, is Brazil. That's the Brazilian regional scene. That's where Matheus Nicolau is from. Training out of Novo União. Very good facility down there. So this is a very interesting fight. It could go either way. This is really a coin flip. I want to kind of say dog or pass, but let's first see what the cappers have to say in this interesting fight. We got the new guy, Razmanian Devils. Raz is saying unanimous decision for David Dvorak. Then we got Angelo from We Want Picks on the side. Like I said, Angelo, he knows his fighters, man. He used to be an agent. He used to book fights for, you know what an agent does. Like if you're a fighter, you have an agent, he books you fights. So he knows what he's talking about. He knows the scene. He's got, in the beginning of, links in the description, in the beginning of his show, he's got like Robbie Lawler and who else is in there? Glover Teixeira, I think. He's got like 4 professional fighters saying, welcome to, We Want Picks or something. So he's like an intro with professionals giving a snippet of a sound bite with a audio bite saying, I don't know, he says something. But welcome to We Want Picks, Angelo. I like him though. Then jumping back over here, we got AJ Devito from MMA Experts. He's taking Dvorak by decision. Jump over here, we got MMA Guru. He's on the side of Matheus Nicolau. And finally, for the tiebreaker, we got Greedo Plays. Greedo Plays, if you didn't know, his channel is basically him playing EA Sports. Like, he's got seasons with, college. I think he got, baseball, football. He does all sorts of sports gameplay on his channel. That's why it's called Greedo Plays. But aside from that, he does phenomenal UFC full card breakdowns. He does for every single card, fight night and pay-per-view, and I love it. I love Greedo. Fantastic work, buddy. Keep up the good job. And he's on the side of David Dvorak. He saying Dvorak should get a decision. So that caps that off. The majority of the cappers on this show, the majority is going for David Dvorak, the Undertaker. I was back and forth on this, as I mentioned. Nicolau does have, I think, you can argue that he has the better strength of schedule because he was in and out of the UFC twice now. But David Dvorak, 16 fight win streak. You can't take anything away from that. And he's fought, despite them being lackluster UFC fighters, he's undefeated in the UFC. He's 3-0. 3-0 and his debut was against Bruno Silva, who's not a chump. Bruno Silva's decent at both weight class, Bruno Silva's. But so that being the said, Andy has the capper majority. I'm gonna agree with the capper majority, and I'm gonna take David Dvorak here to get the job done by decision. So to recap, time check, and I am dead on. Okay, to recap, I've got Viacheslav Borshchev beating Marc Diakiese in a close fight. I think he's gonna end up knocking him out in round 3 with Diakiese, but I don't know, man. Going over these past 5, Diakiese has lasted. He lasted with Fiziev, so yeah, I'm gonna go Borshchev. Either finish in round 3 or decision. I think Diakiese might even win round 1, being that his stats are better. I think his cardio is going to lapse, and he's going to start to, lose the will after a round and a half. Then I've got Magny getting a decision over Max Griffin. As I said, Max Griffin is a decent fighter, but Magny is a different level. I think he's a step ahead. Like it's kind of like Max Griffin's at I'm not no fade on Bellator, but he's like at the Bellator level where UFC is Magny's. Magny's at the UFC caliber. I'm not, interesting fight though, and I could be off. Max Griffin may come in and shock everybody, but I got Magny touching him up. Being the Haitian sensation, out striking him, out pointing him, getting the significant strikes. Decision, just as the capper majority says, and go with the cappers when in doubt, right? Finally, I've got David Dvorak. Again, I take all the favorites, but it's just how I feel, man. I wish I could find an underdog spot on here, but I can't. So I'm gonna take David Dvorak. Also, to get the decision here, so there it is. Gather the info, place those bets, cash those tickets. Bear with me. I'm gonna go see I'm gonna place the bets right now and see what that pays out for those 3. We've got Dvorak -130. We've got, who else is on there? Magny -225 and Slava Claus -155. Parlay those guys, and that pays out. Place bet a +320. +320 for this 3-leg parlay here. Not bad. It's plus money. 3-leg plus 320. There you guys. You guys like, oh, why don't you just show some more info, like who are you gonna take? There you go. I'm doing this 3-leg parlay. Pays out plus money, plus 320. There you have it. So anyway, did I say, yeah, gather the info? I did all that. Okay, go ahead, leave a like. Put the comments in. If you don't watch the whole video, just at least hit the timestamp that says recap so you can get that. Thanks for watching. Good luck on your bets, and I'll see you tomorrow with some select fights going into the main card.